And we are back. Here's my Ford F1 23 race setup. This setup is for Azerbaijan and is made for races in my team, career mode, Grand Prix or league races in F1 23. I myself used this setup for a 50% race and it worked very well. The setup is very reliable and gives you a lot of confidence to attack the streets of Baku in F1 23. What I noticed especially on this track compared to the other tracks I've driven on so far is that the braking distance is a lot longer. On other tracks you notice this a little bit, but on Baku the difference is huge. The first few laps I drove, I missed the corners completely and found myself in the runoff area several times. So this took some time adjusting by braking a little bit earlier, but once I mastered that, this track was really fun to drive on. That's kind of the theme I have with this game. It's just a lot of fun. All the circuits are a lot more fun to drive on because the car seems to go around each track much easier and faster. You have a lot more grip than in previous game and the aerodynamics really seem to work. The aerodynamics make a big difference here in Baku as well. You notice it tremendously when you go through the castle section. The car seems to stick to the ground and it feels like a real F1 car. This setup is reliable, which gives you a lot of confidence to drive on this tricky track. With a fairly high top speed you have enough speed to attack or defend, and that is very nice, but what is even nicer is to have a setup that is fast and reliable. And that is what I've been focusing on. Because this setup does exactly what you want it to do. It brakes well for the corners, even with worn tires, because that's another important point at Baku, that your tires stay good as long as possible. Baku is a tricky track that is very heavy on the rear tires, so while accelerating out the corner, it is important to be careful with the throttle and to have as little wheel spin as possible. Before looking at my setup, I just want to mention that all my setups and tips for F1 23 are listed on the website highlevelsimracing.nl. Here you can find all my setups, but also tips on, for example, the best camera settings or how to make the perfect start in F1 23. Now let's look at my full F1 23 Azerbaijan setup. I have opted for 13 and 15 wings. Differential is set at 55 and 51. Camber and toe is back to old school with right, left. Suspension is at 23, 14, 1, 4 and 30, 31. The brakes at 157. If you are feeling confident while braking, you can lower this to 56. The front tires are at 22.3 and the rear tires are at 20.2. If you notice that the temperature of your tires gets above 104 degrees, then you can lower it by 1 or 2 clicks. If you want to stay updated with all my F1 23 setups, remember to click the like button and subscribe for more F1 23 setups.